Bougainville Community pays tribute to Geologist killed on Bougainville. Bmobile and Huawei PNG launch 5G network. And U.S. President Donald Trump becomes the third president to be impeached.
This is the National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Thursday's news. The news of President Trump's impeachment by the House of Representatives has rocked the United States in recent hours. Trump is the third U.S. president to be impeached as the House of Representatives formally charged him with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress in a historic step that will inflame partisan tensions across a deeply divided America.
Donald Trump made history today, but not the kind he'll want to be remembered for.
It doesn't really feel like we're being impeached, do you?
Even if it didn't feel like it, Trump's name becomes just the third on a roll of dishonor, impeached US presidents.
Article 1 is adopted.
The two articles of impeachment relate to Trump's dealings with Ukraine, accusing the president of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The House passed the first article of impeachment with 230 votes to 197 and 229 votes to 198 on the second article.
The House has acted on a very sad day to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.
The result followed an 11-hour debate in which more than 200 House members had their say, Democrats gunning for impeachment.
You have a moral obligation to say something, to do something. My vote will be impeach, impeach, impeach.
And Republicans against, one even drawing comparisons to the Pearl Harbor attacks.
But also on December 7th, 1941, a horrific act happened in the United States, and it's one that President Roosevelt said, this is a date that will live in infamy. Today, December the 18th, 2019, is another date that will live in infamy.
And the crucifixion of Jesus Christ.
Pontius Pilate afforded more rights to Jesus than the Democrats have afforded this president.
As the debate raged on inside, outside, Americans took to the streets. Marching in Washington, New York, Colorado and California, all calling for Trump to face justice. In Michigan, thousands of Trump supporters braved the cold for a special Christmas rally where President Trump took aim at Democrats.
Crazy Nancy Pelosi's House Democrats have branded themselves with an eternal mark of shame, and it really is. It's a disgrace.
Before today, only 3 US presidents had faced impeachment. Richard Nixon resigned before the process could conclude in 1973, and today marks the 21st anniversary of Bill Clinton's impeachment for lying under oath. Now President Trump will forever be marred with the same shame.
This is the first impeachment where there's no crime.
The articles of impeachment will now be sent to the Senate for trial, but given Republicans hold the majority, it's unlikely Trump will be removed from office. So while today's vote may not be of any real consequence for Trump, he's still facing the indignity of being impeached.
The rise in temperature by 1.5 degrees Celsius in 2020 will impact food security and the country's development agendas. Returning from the COP25 meeting in Madrid, Spain, Environment Minister Wera Mori says drastic changes must take effect to address these challenges. Minister Mori says massive tree planting and a ban on use of lime materials will be prohibited in 2020. He said the global community is making a bold stand as small growing economies will be affected severely.
Is that one, next year we will go into aggressive tree planting. And secondly, we are going to ban the use of limestone to produce cement. Because limestone is one of the biggest reservoir contains carbon dioxide. There's been a global concern, and the world wanted to ban the use of limestone to produce cement.
The National Fisheries Authority has officially launched its PNG standards for fish and fishery products for 2019, upholding NFA's commitment to food safety. The policy, which was gazetted in 2009, had undergone significant reviews in the last decade. It now has a well-defined structure for its implementation. Cadet reporter Benjamin Manimbi reports.
I am looking towards my left.
The National Fisheries Authority has taken a significant step forward in food safety with the launch of the 2019 PNG standards for fish and fishery products. The standard is aimed at managing, controlling and regulating all PNG fisheries resources with provision of quality and safety standards, points emphasized by NFA Managing Director Mr. John Kasu.
I'm happy to say that as a positive outcome of these participatory consultations, we have now reached a point in time where we can say that the work is done and that today is an opportunity to launch and recognize a legal instrument that paves the way forward for us in ensuring that we are adhering to world's best standards and practices in maintaining food security, resource security, sustainability, and most important is the safety standards for food.
The launching saw the PNG Standards for Fish and Fishery Products 2019, gazetted through the National Institute of Standards and Industrial Technology process. NISIT Director General Mr. Victor Gabi commended NFA for their accomplishment and expressed challenges that will be faced.
An internationally recognized accreditation of testing laboratories providing testing services for the sector players. It will be a challenge in making sure sectoral audit and inspection services are working and meeting the required standards set for various types of fish and fisheries products.
The development of the fish and fishery product began when Meding's RD Tuna Cannons Limited showed interest in exporting its canned tuna products to the European market in the late 1990s. After significant reviews in the last 5 years, the PNG Standard for Fish and Fishery Products now has a well-defined structure in its implementation in the NFA. Mr. Kasu said these standards are in line with national objectives and that it was an investment in itself.
It is expected that this focus and investment will increase the economies of scales in the fishery sector through increased investment, added value and greater production. As at present, major revenue streams, source of foreign exchange and employment in Papua New Guinea is derived from the export of fish and fishery products.
Through these standards, fishery products exported from PNG will now have to meet its more refined quality and safety standards across all stages, from capture, transporting and processing. Benjamin Manimbi, National EMTV News.
Bmobile, in partnership with Huawei PNG, today signed a memorandum of understanding to pre-launch their new 5G network. A trial phase is planned to run through to mid-next year before it is officially launched. Minister for Communication and Information Technology, Timothy Masiu, and representatives from Bmobile, Huawei PNG, Nectar and Kumul Telecom Holdings Limited were there to witness the occasion.
The 5G network is said to be the next generation of mobile wireless networks to serve the country, which will eventually replace the 2G, 3G and 4G networks. Minister for Communications and Information Technology Timothy Masiu commended this initiative, adding that it is important for PNG as it is estimated to increase the country's GDP.
From an economic perspective, it is estimated that the introduction of 5G will roll out appropriately and will also boost domestic mobile technology and services with a potential of contributing an additional 4 to 6% GDP.
Chief Executive Officer for Bmobile Athula Bianwila says the 5G network will benefit PNG tremendously, especially in sectors of agriculture, health and education.
I think for PNG, the agriculture sector would benefit enormously with this technology. And, it is the time, with the Coral C2 cable coming in, it is the right time to bring these new technologies. Right? So, with the Coral C2 cable and 5G, the agriculture sector will benefit enormously, and we can leapfrog technology straight into the 5G.
Bienwiller added that Bmobile will be working closely with NICTA and Huawei PNG to ensure that the 5G network is deployed successfully next year. Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer for NICTA, Charles Punaha, says 2G, 3G and 4G network users will be given adequate time to adapt the 5G network.
Whilst we will provide for the deployment of 5G services, we are also going to allow the existing services that we have extensive coverage time to migrate from 2G, 3G to 4G and 5G enabled services.
Minister Messiu also urged Bmobile to prioritize better rural coverage and quality of service. Pamela Barara, National EMTV News.
Prime Minister and member for Taripori James Marape visited Tari Provincial Hospital yesterday to open new hospital infrastructure projects funded and completed under the PNG Australia partnership. The Prime Minister thanked the PNG Incentive Fund for the 10 million kina used to construct a single nurse quarter, hospital kitchen and mass facilities. Marape said it would help boost morale of the hospital staff and wants nurses and doctors to attend training in the future. Other projects include the hospital's X-ray and pathology laboratories. He said this partnership between the Government of Australia, Oil Search Foundation and Oil Search is a testament to the commitment to serving the people of Taripori and the country as a whole. Meanwhile, Eastern Highlands Governor Peter Numu says his province was affected by the shortage of medicine in recent months. He was referring to the Public Accounts Committee inquiry into Health Department and the lack of accountability in delivering the drugs. The governor wants those responsible investigated.
Not yet.
Eastern Highlands Governor Peter Numu said medicine shortages have been an ongoing issue in the province. Because of the shortage of basic drugs in health facilities, patients are being prescribed medication to buy in pharmacies.
Since I got elected, Nakamosem, medical supplies a big problem, low province. I personally supported many people. I purchased their medicine. And this is not right. This is not good.
Health centers in the Eastern Highlands province receive their medical supplies from the area medical store in Ley. A health official who did not wish to be named confirmed that health centers get their supplies every 2 months. However, this is sometimes delayed. They also receive less supplies than what they order. This issue is being faced by health facilities nationwide.
So my supply come, I often say my people. My supply don't have to my area. I'm suffering. My community is suffering.
Last month, the Public Accounts Committee started an inquiry into the distribution of medical supplies. They found that some of the companies engaged in delivering supplies were not qualified or experienced. These findings will be investigated by police. Mr. Numu said this inquiry must be a priority
go down to places like
because a lot of people have suffered.
One employee line health department na all making one employee wrong passing blow hole na marasin go sojet usad involved in one way or the other. I personally want them to be crucified under the laws of this Papua New Guinea. They must face the full consequence.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Goroka.
You're watching National EMTV News. We'll be back with more after the break. Welcome back. Part of the approach the national government is taking to eliminate gender-based violence in PNG is to address it through all sectors. An agreement was signed today between government and the European Union for a funding of $25 million to address gender-based violence issues in the country. Actual work is expected to commence in January.
The Attorney General David Stephen signed an agreement today between the European Union and the PNG government in addressing gender-based violence in the country. The Deputy Prime Minister said it was the first time to see different sectors of the government to work together before expressing his concern for the issue.
The area we see also the coming together of government, multilaterals, but also our non-government actors. In this, we're talking about civil society, women and youth groups. We have so many issues in our society today. This is not to mention lawlessness. This is not to mention the corruption perception index. But this one issue that involves our mothers is about the very fabric of our society, our homes, and the children we are raising today.
PNG is the second largest country to receive funds from the European Union in addressing this issue. And as part of the Union's commitment to fighting gender-based violence, a total of $500 million has been set to support different governments around the world. UN Resident Coordinator Gianluca Rampolla said PNG's approach in receiving the funds is credible and that this program is to reduce violence in PNG.
In certain instances, up to 70% of women have experienced some form of abuse in the place that should be the safest for them, at home. This program is about ensuring we are able to have an impact on reducing the level of domestic and intimate partner violence in PNG. It's an enormous challenge and a challenge that requires a multidimensional approach to it. It's not an issue that is going to be addressed solely by focusing on prevention.
Mr. Rampolla said that among other areas of focus, prevention of gender-based violence will be mainly focused upon.
It's a program of $25 million. That is about 80 million kina or more. The European Union has been providing the largest share of it.
The funding will be for a 3-year period to try to eliminate or limit gender-based violence in the country. Benjamin Manibi, National EMTV News.
Dr. Virgil Narakobi has been appointed National and Supreme Court Judge of Papua New Guinea by the Judicial and Legal Services Commission. Narakobi, who comes from Dagua in Wewak District, East Sepik Province, is specialized in public law. He graduated with a doctorate in law from the Victoria University in New Zealand after completing his master's in law at England's Cambridge University in 1999. Narakobi was serving as the legal counsel for the Ombudsman Commission prior to his appointment today. He's the son of late Bernard Narakobi, former MP and expert in law, and the author of the famous journal The Melanesian Way.
To express not only the JLSC's confidence in Dr. Narakobi, but my personal confidence having known Dr. Narakobi, first of all as a lawyer and as an academic, but going one step back and to admit that doctor comes from a very high pedigree. I've had the privilege of practicing law with his late dad, who is one of our pioneers in the law practice and profession, a great contributor to our jurisprudence, having been one of our founding fathers of our Constitution, and having served in our judiciary as a judge.
Family, personally, this is a momentous occasion, and we are humbled. I'm not only humbled, but my family and I are very humbled by the great confidence that the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, the Minister for Justice and Attorney General, the Chief Justice, and of course the Acting Chief Ombudsman, who's also a member of the Judicial and Legal Services Commission. We are truly humbled by the confidence that they have expressed to elevate me to this very high office.
It is a gain to the people of Papua New Guinea for him being a judge, but we will see from the other angle, him going there will continue to help us to maintain our constitution, a vibrant constitution, and remain the constitution as it is.
The PNG Women's Chamber of Commerce and Industry received more than 20,000 kina worth of computers from the Telecom Foundation Inc. The donation made by the foundation will support the organization to advocate ICT literacy amongst adults, especially women.
The Telecom Foundation has been in partnership with many organizations with the objective of enabling ICT solutions for children in the country. The NGO has stepped in to support the PNG Women's Chamber of Commerce and Industry with computers and other ICT equipments.
Our objective is to improve literacy through technology-enabled solutions, and basically we build IT labs for schools. For this case, it's a significant event where we have partners that come on board. Port Moresby Women's Chamber of Commerce is a partner to this in terms of improving literacy, but through adult folks or adult populace in the country.
Coordinator Yolanda Buff Matuk says the foundation will support the work of women in improving adult literacy, specifically with information communication technology, and adds that Telecom Foundation is proud to be in partners with the PNG Women's Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
So we're proud to be a partner with the PNG Women's Chamber of Commerce in terms of enabling them to ensure that they can run their trainings and support the work that they do, targeting our women in the country. And I think it's a significant target population where women usually manage homes. So when we support women, we support a home, and our kids are also supported. So
Suli National EMTV News.
The PNG Nurses Association has announced it is joining the United Labour Party. This was during the association's final executive meeting of this year.
The PNG Nurses Association yesterday announced it's joining the newly established United Labour Party. The association's president, Frederick Kebai, said the alignment will enable the labour force to have a part in decisions made in Parliament.
We should have a voice in the Parliament who can advocate for the labour force in the country. And aligning ourselves with United Labour Party is only proper, and we believe they will represent and being our voice in the Parliament. You and I must know that the country does not come about by itself. The country is built because of the labour force. You and I make up this country, and establishing a party to advocate for a workforce in the country is very, very important.
The president added that this will be the first time the association will be joining a political party. The association has 20 branches around the country and over 4,000 members. This announcement was done during the final executive meeting of the PNG Nurses Association. Present at the meet was the Bulolo MP and United Labour Party leader, Sam Basil, who welcomed the association's support, saying it is about time the labour force is heard in Parliament.
In other democracies around the world, and with our neighbours such as New Zealand and Australia, even in America, even in Great Britain, there is a Labour Party representing the needs for the unions. In PNG, there's a gap. So today, we have filled the gap, and we will make sure that our representation truly represents the unions.
Yesterday was the third day of the PNG Nurses Association executive meeting. The meet was to discuss issues raised by the members and planned for the coming year. Natasha Rovoy, National EMTV News.
Members of Bougainville Community in Port Moresby today visited the family of the late Terry Killia, a geologist who died in Bougainville last week. Their visit as a mark of respect to family members of Killia, who died while conducting exploration on Mount Torre in Melelup, North Bougainville. Their visit comes amidst rumors of potential retaliatory attacks against Bougainvillians following his death a week ago.
Late Terry Killia, a senior geologist, died while on duty in Melelup, North Bougainville last week. At the time of his death, he was engaged by Kalia Limited, a mining exploration company which was exploring deposits on Mount Torre. His death just after the announcement of Bougainville's referendum results. In recent days, there have been rumors of retaliatory attacks against Bougainvillians for Killia's death. However, as part of the Melanesian culture, members from the Bougainville community in Port Moresby visited the house cry at 9 Mile this morning to console the family and show support. Communications Minister Timothy Masiu and Wapenamanda MP Rimbing Pato were present to show solidarity and allay fears of violence following the death. A total of 21,000 kina and 3 pigs were presented to late Killia's family during this occasion.
Long Wapenamanda, Masak Valley, please accepting Toksori long Mipla. Bougainville Community, staff long Port Moresby, Bougainville Community, staff long Lay, long Medeng, on the staff long Wapen, long Henga, on the school long Hap, long Wani Mapo long country. Accepting my apology, not big la Toksori long Mipla, long this time, long big la heavy.
The leaders also calling for the perpetrators of Killia's death to be brought to justice immediately.
Geologist Terry, Emmy Lane Foundation, something by Kama. Now this is something I'm bring him come close to one term. Now people can establish him one term. Long we can look long one and something by we make him long behind time. Time we walk about one term was a brother and sister inside of the country.
Rimbing Pato, on behalf of his people, thanked the Bougainville community for their support in this time of sorrow.
Now, all the people of Wapenamanda, thank you again. Thank you through to Master and God by blessing you me. Now, future blowing me by me sit down and talk, by me stop. Carry maybe blow people blow me yet by me come no yupla, me no yupla no yupla. Heavy come up by me sit down one them na fix it because them this lie me. Big la challenging time of Papua New Guinea and people from Bougainville and big la challenge so you come up on the meter so God by giving belly sin no yumi.
Late Killia's body arrived from Bougainville this afternoon. His body was received by his friends and family members at the airport and taken to the funeral home. According to the relatives, they are not allowed to go near the body as it belongs to the state. Late Killia's body will be handed over to his family after a post-mortem is conducted. Rayon Lakingu, National MTV News.
National MTV News continues with more after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Treasurer Ian Ling Starkey recently presented funding of 5 million kina to Namatanai MP Walter Schnaubelt. This funding to help chart and maintain Namatanai's development pathway, as highlighted in its first ever 5-year development plan, presented to the Prime Minister during the opening of the Namatanai District's fresh produce buying point.
Implemented through the business arm of the district, the project was inspired by Namatanai MP Walter Schnaubelt after having gone through analysis of the hardships faced by mothers and their families in the district.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you, long consideration blue you and looks away blue you. One bell no good to. Thank you, Treasurer. No facilitating decision belong in. Now you carry me come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Makim Prime Minister, Makim. Gaman lo Marape Stevens, me like him now this the check. He go member blo Namatanai, now he go back lo yubla all people na lewa blo me.
Following the presentation of the 5 million kina check, a closer analysis of the project exposes the benefits of the project at more levels than one.
And Mr. Nablo here, Prime Minister, na tokol sem. This la money you give lo me, or give lo people blo me, by me walk long en. Now you by looking walk come up long en. And this plan, no doubt, no plenty, the people will benefit from it. The people will benefit from it.
With the aim to achieve financial security for the farmers of Namatanai, Prime Minister James Marape has stressed more than once at different occasions the government's intention of job creation and opportunities for local youths and their families.
Not all hope is lost to the youths amongst us. So be asking you, kiss him seat where Wally gave him today, the Honorable Walter Snowbelt, grow him the money, blue, open him account, and you'll go to the next level. I look forward to you accessing credit facilities that Bamble put him, or you go to the next level.
Anit Kora, National MTV News.
Turning overseas now, New South Wales has declared a new state of emergency in the midst of a dangerous heat wave which has already seen several homes lost to fire. Temperatures as high as 45 degrees are fueling the bushfire crisis, with little relief forecasts in the next few days.
For a taste of what Australia's east coast is facing, New South Wales need only look north. Across the border in Queensland, a roaring inferno bearing down yesterday on Peregian Springs. Today, the danger is south of the border, ferocious fires with homes in their way. For some, it's already much too late. New South Wales declaring a state of emergency ahead of several days of danger.
The biggest concern for us over the next few days is the unpredictability, with extreme wind conditions, extreme hot temperatures.
Those temperatures soaring into the 40s, with powerful winds starting new blazes and bringing those already burning to life. There are 3 huge fires of concern to authorities, including the mega blaze outside Sydney. Today, it's certain they will spread. The dark area shows what is already burning, 2 large fires on Sydney's door. The red is predicted to burn today, and the weekend will be worse.
Whilst today is going to be a very bad day, a dangerous day here in New South Wales, the forecast is that Saturday will be even worse.
Smoke has returned to the Sydney Basin, and with it, debate over what to do. Outside Scott Morrison's Sydney residence, a group of protesters staged a sit-in. Angry the Prime Minister's overseas on holiday, while back home, fires rage.
Scott Morrison, where the bloody hell are you? Having a nice holiday while Australia burns?
The acting Prime Minister, Michael McCormack, has done little to calm their nerves.
Yes, the smoke is a problem, but smoke, as it always does, will blow away.
The fire crisis, however, will not blow over. The winds today only fanning the flames.
And on a lighter note, a new video has emerged of a man's close encounter with a bear in a California national park. The man filmed from inside his car while the bear climbed on top of it.
This morning, new video from inside the car that a bear was filmed jumping on top of at Sequoia National Park earlier this month. That video went viral, but now we have a first-hand look from the California man inside, showing just how close the encounter really was.
I was just trying to get a good video, like close up, and then it just started approaching the car and climbed up. I wasn't really scared, to be honest, like, because I see bears as big dogs, like big fluffy dog, basically. They could maul you, but it's a dog.
Karo Oruzjan was visiting the park with his dog, Ice, who lived up to his name, coolly and quietly staring back at the bear as it swiped at the vehicle, separated by just a thin layer of window glass. Watch as the bear paws its way to the back before making its big move.
It jumped on the trunk. I got worried about the back glass, thinking like his paw might go through it.
An onlooker capturing that viral moment from a line of traffic, the bear hopping off as quickly as it got on before running away, leaving Oruzjan with an indelible memory.
It was my first time seeing a bear, actually, so I was really excited to see it. I'm happy I was even able to hold my phone, in the moment.
Up next, we'll take a look at some sporting updates in Chukai Sports. Don't go away.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sport. A Motu Koita rugby team will be travelling to Mendi with the Port Moresby Vipers. The Motuan team will play a Mendi Rugby League team as curtain races to the main game between Vipers and Moroks. This was announced yesterday by NCD Governor Pos Pakop in a press conference.
For us, we always win gold, or some pretenders come and...
The Motu Koita Rugby League is in its third year of competition. The association is made up of Motuan villages surrounding the National Capital District. An invitation was extended to the Motuan side by NCD Governor for a team to participate with Vipers and Moroks in Mendi for a game.
We have a Motu Koita team 2 going up to play a Southern Islands team. It will be the curtain raiser, so I'm happy that Motu Koita, the acting chairman, is here. We will have 2 teams going up there. It will be a very strong rugby league game, playing to a high standard, 2 franchise, playing to their best, but playing for peace, playing for hope, playing for a brighter future for Mendi and for Papua New Guinea.
Over the past years in the rugby league history, the Motuans have produced some of the best Kumul players. Some are currently with SP Anta's team. Acting chairman for Motu Koita Rugby League Association, Arthur Patrick, says their participation in the game will be a new exposure for the young-looking Meros.
An exciting opportunity for our boys, because all our boys, like, they play within only in the city, and what's the game, the rugby league, the toughness in other province, they don't know about that, how rugby league is played at that level. So it's going to be a good opportunity for our boys, and I thank the governor for inviting us, and Mendi Moroks and Vipers accepting us to be part of this journey.
The team is strongly preparing for the game and will travel on the 27th of this month to Mendi for a tough encounter. Suli Suli, National EMTV Sports.
The director of the PNG Rugby Football League Southern Conference, Gwaibo Mairi, has reminded clubs to educate their supporters to respect opponents and rules of the game. This follows the 2-year ban on a local Goilala club following a spectator-related violence that led to the death of a rival team supporter.
Mairi's remarks is one not only for the team implicated, but the wider rugby league following. Spectator violence is something that's troubled the game for many years in many parts of the country.
And we've made it our business to get the message across to clubs to educate their supporters.
When a supporter is involved in violence on field, that person doesn't get the blame. The penalty or the blame, however, is passed on to the club according to the rugby league laws.
When the Hagen Eagles did that at Sir John Guy Stadium, you know what PNG RFL did? They didn't charge those supporters, they charged the club. You are responsible for the actions of your supporters.
The PNG RFL man in charge of the Southern Conference says everybody must take ownership of their actions. For the Goilala Karukas, they still have a chance to appeal the decision following their contribution to the wake of the deceased Koyari supporter. Bradley Valenaki, National EMTV Sports.
Chukai Sports continues with more after these messages. Don't go away.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome back to Chukai Sport. Star basketballer Corey Webster is leaving the Breakers for now at least. Webster's been released for the rest of the current Aussie National League season to join a team in China. However, in a deal seal-off for the Breakers, he'll be back.
Sealing the deal on a departure from the Breakers, albeit a short-term one.
Leaving halfway through the season it's a little bit disappointing for myself. I feel bad a little bit, but you know, like I said, this is an opportunity that's going to change some things for my family.
Corey Webster off to China in the coming days for the rest of this ANBL season. Having received an offer both he and the Breakers couldn't refuse.
No one in their right mind would just strictly turn it down.
We looked at
1, what this means for the team, 2, what this means for our business, and 3, what this means for Corey and his family. And when we took all those things into account, this was the decision we came to as a club.
One News understands the buyout from the Chinese club for the 4-month stint is $150,000 US. That and the fact he'll be back in Auckland for the next 3 seasons significant.
This is something now we can really start to build on what we're trying to do here. We've got Tom locked in, we've got Corey. We start to add some pieces around them and we can do something special here.
It's another blow to the Breakers in a season that's had a lot of them, from on-court defeats to off-court departures and rumours of unrest. Webster adamant he's happy at the club, despite wanting out at the start of the season.
With everything that's gone on, I still believe in the road that we're taking and the focuses and the plans of the club. And I'm very happy that I got to sign an extension and I'll be returning.
The 4-win and 10-loss Breakers without Webster and RJ Hampton now looking to the Tall Blacks guard Ethan Rusbatch to help them resurrect their campaign.
One knock-on effect of that All Blacks announcement, of course, is a reshuffle at the Hurricanes. The franchise forced to search for a new head coach just a week out from the new season, a search that in the end landed them right back at camp.
Away from the cameras, Jason Holland now getting familiar to life as head coach.
You gradually evolve, I suppose, and you want to keep grow your skills and be able to do everything, really.
His announcement comes after a lengthy speculation over the makeup of the All Blacks coaching setup.
The timing was challenging for us, but we've just got on with it.
Also challenging because both Plumtree and Holland were linked with Ian Foster and Scott Robertson, respectively.
We had a plan for both, and I think the transition for Jason is probably easier than our other plan.
Everything's in place, and we've been working tight together around that for the last few weeks.
But in reality, the transition has been in place for a lot longer.
Plum's encouraged me to take over some parts of the head coach role over the last couple of years, and that's the strength of Plum, I suppose, and that his focus has been to help grow me and everyone else.
Holland not the only Hurricanes promotion announced today, with Corey Jane pulled in from the Wellington Lions to take over defensive duties.
Threw him in the deep end straight away, and the detail he comes up with around the D is outstanding.
He's one of those guys that when he was playing, everyone knew he was going to be a coach because you couldn't shut him up.
As the Canes build for their first season without Bowden Barrett and John Plumtree, some good news at least for any nervous fans. New Zealand's Player of the Year, Ardie Savia, expected back sooner than anticipated.
There was talk about 5 or 6 months, sounding like it's half that now.
It's way better than what was earlier.
An early bit of good fortune for the new man in charge.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather details coming up next.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
A look at the weather forecast in the southern region, mostly fine in Popondetta and Port Moresby. Fine although cloudy in Kerma, partly cloudy in Daru, fine weather in Alotau. In the Momasa region, partly cloudy in Lae, a shower or two in Midang and Wewak, thundery showers in Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, thundery showers in Larangau, fine although cloudy in Kavieng, Kokopo and Rabaul, partly cloudy in Kimbe, a shower or two in Buka. And in the Highlands region, cloudy with a few showers in Mount Hagen, partly cloudy with a shower or two apart from morning fog in Goroka and Kundiawa, cloudy with few showers apart from morning fog in Mendi and Wabeg.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
And that's been National EMTV News this Thursday. Have a pleasant evening. Good night.